citizens of the world. We are anonymous. Last week, some very grave alarm bells began ringing around the world when the Swedish Civil Contingencies Agency, MSB, sent a letter to local authorities across the country telling them to make preparations for war with Russia. Unfortunately, though, none of these alarm bells were heard in America because that entire nation has gone totally insane, and with insanity being described as mad. Friend up. Part of the resistance, not be an idea that society has kept life worried like the million.
QuickBooks introduces Get Paid Pronto. New businesses have trouble getting invoices paid, so get QuickBooks and send that invoice. Looks like they viewed it. And ta-da! Pay twice as fast. Way to grow, boss. Get 30 days free.
Are not saviors, we are concerned citizens formed built-in multiplication because we were your door. The student said President-elect Donald Trump's ability to destroy Islamic State ISIS. That is carried out by
I feel like I'm a trendsetter, not a trend follower. You know, I'm a disruptor. I use my XPS 13 for everything. It's stylish, I love the touch screen, and it fits my personality and lifestyle.
You can get no payments for 5 months during the Kia holidays on a sales event.
We're being constantly entertained. One key to maintain the masses under control is to keep them distracted. You can rob the people, and you can poison them, as long as they are paying attention somewhere else.
And why is that? It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become rescued? When the people are asking questions and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. He has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world. So that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is. So they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated. So they don't ever question the emperor.
Another tool to use to keep the people apathetic towards the exploitation is to dumb down the population. The elites don't want a well-informed, well-educated population. That would be too dangerous for the current socio-economical order that benefits the elites. As John Rockefeller said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. They want you to be ignorant, to be stupid. They don't want you to understand how the economy works. They don't want you to think by yourself. What they want is to ensure that you know so little about the world that surrounds you, that you are unable to realize that you are being looted in front of your eyes. To achieve that goal, they will place you in the educational system, where you will be indoctrinated to become an obedient citizen. By the time you will have finished your education, all your intellectual curiosity will have been killed, all your passion for learning will be gone, and all you will have, it's a deep lack of knowledge about the world that surrounds you.
Don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. That's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there. It's physics. And everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do.
4. Another tool they use is brainwashing. They will use the media, the advertisements, the education, the movies, to instill in your mind aspirations, attitudes and behaviors that will turn you into a non-thinking creature. They do not want you to care about the world. They don't want you to be altruistic. They don't want you to read books. What they want is to implant in your mind values, preoccupations and complexes that will turn you into a selfish, materialistic and ignorant creature who will be easily exploited by an elite.
Social messages are promoted through movies and drama, high drama, through the fixation of emotive sequences, emotional sequences, not logical, factual sequences, but pushing points across in an emotional way which register and fix in the mind. So emotional content is very, very important rather than go through an actual discussion or an argument using logic and facts. There's no debate. And when you're being downloaded through fiction, your guard is down, the sensor part of your brain is not in action. It isn't saying, yes, I agree with this, I disagree with that, as you would in a debate or a lecture. You're actually in an alpha state being completely downloaded with new ideas.
5. Another weapon they use to mind control the population is through implanting hatred in their minds. The elites don't want a united population. That would be too dangerous for the economical order. They need the masses to be divided and to be confronted with each other. We live under an economical system that is unfair for the majority of the population. Unhappiness and discontent will be rampant among the citizens, and the elites don't want you to turn against them. They don't want you to realize that your unhappiness stems from the unfair economical system they have created, and to achieve that, they will bombard you with propaganda and lies, to persuade you that the real problems you experience come from someone else. A common scapegoat blamed by the elites tend to be the immigrants. We can see now in US or in United Kingdom how the immigrants have been the main topic of the political debates, when the real reason of the hardships we are going through are the greediness of the bankers.
Now, to balance the scale, I'd like to talk about some things that bring us together. Things that point out our similarities instead of our differences. Because that's all you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different from one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing happens to work. You know anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything you can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
6. Another tool used by the elites would be fear and terror. Sometimes the elites require the masses to be scared. Sometimes the establishment need to wage imperialistic wars, or need to curtail your rights to keep the masses subjugated, and to achieve that, they will put you in such a state of fear that you will eventually allow your government to wage a war or to curtail your rights, so that you can feel safe again. To scare the citizens, the elites use mainly two methods: propaganda and false flag terror attacks against their own population. 9/11 is one of the many examples of terrorist attacks against the own population orchestrated by the elites to terrorize the masses and manipulate their minds. A clear example of propaganda to scare the ignorant masses was that Iraq, a poor country devastated by 1 decade of U.S. bombings, had weapons of mass destruction.
Ballistic missiles, chemical and biological weapons, and chemical and biological attack. Nuclear holy warriors. Nuclear program, nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapon, nuclear technology, biological, chemical, or a nuclear weapon.
7. Another way to keep the masses subjugated is to make us believe in a fake reality. The history has been twisted. The news are giving us a biased view of the world. The music industry is brainwashing us with stupid messages. The documentaries are lying at us. The elite controls all we see and all we watch. They are cleverly manipulating our worldview to turn us into controllable and ignorant beings. To keep the masses subjugated is indispensable to make them live in an illusory world. Otherwise, they could find out their condition of slaves. The elites need to create a fake reality to give them the illusion they're free.
We'll tell you any shit we want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you Oh, sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even sex like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion.
8. Another tool used to keep the masses in a deep state of ignorance is the censorship. The enlightened people are killed. The free-thinking journalists are silenced. The whistleblowers incarcerated. And the teachers who speak the truth are fired. That's the modern and liberal societies where most of the masses think they live. Through censorship in the media industry and in the educational system, the elites can prevent the masses from waking up and realize that they are living in a prison. We are basically free-range slaves.
Well, I've been a journalist for about 25 years, and I was educated to lie, to betray, and not to tell the truth to the public. But seeing right now, within the last months, how the German and American media tries to bring law to the people in Europe, to bring law to Russia. This is a point of no return, and I'm going to stand up and say it is not like what I have done in the past to manipulate people, to make propaganda against Russia, and it is not right what my colleagues do and have done in the past, because they are bribed to betray the people, not only in Germany, all over Europe.
9. Another tool to control the masses is through keeping the citizens busy since the first day they can start thinking by themselves. A human being with free time poses a threat for the system. Free time would allow individuals to think, to develop passions, to wake up spiritually. That's too dangerous for the current socio-economical order. If the elites want to exploit the masses, they need to kill the individual. They cannot allow you to develop your own personality and think by yourself. To control the population, it's a must to keep the citizens busy and with no free time. Then, they will become robots. They will not know themselves. They will not know who they are or what they like. Have you ever wondered why so many people is lost? Why nobody seems to know what to do with their lives? If you turn the people into zombies, who don't know who they are, who do not have values, then you can easily exploit them.
Well, if you want the truth, go to God. Go to your gurus. Go to yourselves. Because that's the only place you're ever going to find any real truth. Man, you're never going to get any truth from us.
As we have seen, if the masses have become so apathetic towards the misery, the poverty and the destruction around them, it's because there are very powerful individuals and institutions who are using a wide variety of techniques to control what we see, what we learn and what we think, in order to control our minds and create a population of submissive, apathetic creatures who can be easily exploitable.
The scientific dictatorship understands what makes human beings tick. They understand our psychology. They've studied it, and they're using it against us. But the minute the public awakens to the fact that there is an agenda to manipulate them, and the second the public realizes that they are being conditioned and controlled, the establishment begins to lose that edge they got over people. So all I ask viewers to do is to think for themselves.
We have become cattle. The earth has become a farm. Now my question is, are you a cattle, or are you a human being? I hope this video has somehow helped the viewer to become a little bit more awake. We are anonymous. We are a legion. We do not forget. Expect us.
Turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
The new president, the new chance for change, with a plan that will unleash economic growth, and an expert team dedicated to a pro-jobs tax reform agenda to benefit all Americans. Better America First trade deals, modernizing infrastructure investments, a return to fiscal responsibility, and replacing Obamacare.
Call Senator Donnelly. Tell him to vote to confirm the Trump economic team.
One, two, three, four. Bubba bashes. Gonna slam through your door. 5, 6. Boom, boom, boom. 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 Boom, 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 boom. 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 Let's talk. But I'm afraid to look. This is Rogue Asylum. They told me to give up, but I'm back up again. I'm gonna let this blood sweat out my veins again. I'm going hard. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna go hard and beat you at the end. This is Rogue Asylum. All these doctors don't know what's wrong with me. They think I got the devil inside of me. But what do they know?
Citizens of the world, we are anonymous. Last week, some very grave alarm bells began ringing around the world when the Swedish Civil Contingencies Agency, MSB, sent a letter to local authorities across the country telling them to make preparations for war with Russia. Unfortunately, though, none of these alarm bells were heard in America because that entire nation has gone totally insane, and with insanity being described as madness, folly, foolishness, and lunacy, there is no other apt description that covers what is now happening in what used to be the most revered country in the modern world. The first signs of this insanity that has overcome America began on the 16th of June 2015 when the global billionaire real estate developer Donald Trump announced that he was running for the US presidency, and that, contrary to what you've been allowed to know, was the culmination of a nearly 20-year plan to retake control of the United States and overthrow the globalist elites who had seized this nation away from its citizens for their own gain, motives, and profit, and as best described this past week by US historian and political leader Newt Gingrich. Do you understand who Trump really is, who the forces behind him are, and how really, really smart and ingenious he is after all, for this one single person to bring down the Republican Party, Democratic Party, the Bush family dynasty, the Clinton family dynasty, and all others who opposed him? The world is now dealing with one of the most powerful persons ever to set forth on the global stage. It is no coincidence either that the movement Trump is now in full control of is being evidenced throughout the world too, and that led to the stunning Brexit vote casting Britain out of the European Union, and too many other shocking events mentioned in just one writing. But as the new year begins, will overturn the entire old world order. Painted by his elite globalist enemies as a demagogue, they critically fail to realize that Trump is, instead, a populist who espouses government by the people as a whole. That is to say, the masses, that is in sharp contrast to aristocracy. oligarchy, synarchy or plutocracy, each of which is an ideology that espoused government by a small, privileged group above the masses. To how these privileged groups seized power in the first place is through what is now called identity politics and as practiced in America involved the decades-long division of this nation's citizens into warring camps divided by social issues, abortion, gun rights, etc., and race, gender identity, ethnicity, nationality, sexual orientation, disability, religion, culture, language and dialect. This could not have been accomplished, however, unless these privileged groups were backed by an all-powerful and consuming national media propaganda effort led by the 6 corporations that control 90% of all the media outlets in America, who call themselves the official arbiters of truth and all of whom have now devoted themselves to destroying Trump at any cost and by any means. And in just one example of this to note, on Friday, July 22, 2016 at 10:30 a.m., WikiLeaks released over 2 publications, 44,053 emails and 17,761 attachments from the top of the U.S. Democratic National Committee, and that was followed in October and November by them further releasing over 20,000 pages of emails from the computer of Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman John Bodster. To how WikiLeaks obtained these U.S. Democratic National Committee emails, their founder, Julian Assange, stated that they were not given to this whistle-blowing organization by Russia or any other state actor, and former British Ambassador Craig Murray, and current WikiLeaks senior advisor, further revealing that John Bodster's emails were given to WikiLeaks by an NSA operative as his emails were saved this spy agency due to his contacts with Saudi Arabia. Now one would logically think that this would be the end of this admittedly bizarre episode in the 2016 US presidential election, and that it would go down in history alongside the attempt made by Senator Ted Kennedy in 1983 to get the communist Soviet Union to overthrow President Ronald Reagan in the 1984 election, as even President Obama on the 18th of October discounted anything interfering in this presidential election, and who directly told Trump to stop whining before the game's even over. But then Trump won, and America's elites and their propaganda mainstream media backers went insane. And not just normal insane, but crazy insane, and that began with anonymous CIA sources falsely claiming that Russia was responsible for leaking the DNC and codes to emails to WikiLeaks in order to get Trump elected, and that led just hours ago to President Obama vowing to action against Russia. With the US propaganda mainstream media not even bothering to tell the truth to the American people that WikiLeaks had already stated that Russia was in no way responsible for these email leaks. They, instead, have used all of their power to spread this lie, and that is being followed by a concentrated effort by them to overthrow Trump before he even takes office, and includes them saying that the Electoral College must make Hillary Clinton president. The Electoral College must fall on its sword to prevent Trump from being president, and warning that if the Electoral College doesn't delay its vote, Clinton will be picking the next US president. The CNN television news network also has even gone so far as having one of its commentators named Van Jones, who worked in Obama's White House, set up a PR firm to keep Trump from taking office, and who produced a video out of American celebrities urging electors to cause Electoral College chaos to keep Trump from becoming president. For those of us who have done nothing more than tell you the truth about what is going on, I am sad to report we are now being targeted too with Facebook, where 44% Americans say they get their news, now actually censoring anyone daring to tell the truth by labeling them as fake news, and that involves their readers being able to flag anything they believe as fake news, except for any articles published by the propaganda mainstream media, of course. Facebook says that every article flagged as fake news they will filter through fact-checking organizations like Media Matters, that is, of course, controlled by George Soros, who gave over $27 million to Hillary Clinton.
Jim! There's a train! A real train! No! Jim! Move! It's in your head!
makes us do things. The more scared we are, the more powerful we get.
George Soros, who gave over $27 million to Hillary Clinton and admits that its main goal is to destroy all alternative media websites in America. And the reason that all American alternative news sites have to be destroyed is because without them Trump would have never been able to win it. It's as simple as that, folks. No, this too, George Soros' Media Matters is unrelenting in their destruction of all American alternative websites too, and compile a daily list of these sites. JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the US, in response to America having gone insane, has also issued a warning telling all of its investors to start ignoring the mainstream media and stated geopolitical developments should be gauged from both traditional and non-traditional data sources, such as big data sentiment indicators, independent media outlets, etc. Given the failure of many traditional data sources to anticipate geopolitical developments this year. As just one example of these traditional data, news sources failing to anticipate geopolitical developments was the entire American mainstream media who didn't know what was going in Turkey, but as an independent media outlet we did. And on the 2nd of December 2015 warned that the US was plotting a coup there, and that began on the 16th of July. If you remember, it most certainly was not the American mainstream propaganda media that told you Trump would win. It was us, and just like I told all of you in my the 22nd of October letter titled Donald Trump Landslide Victory Races World War III to Finish Line. And before anyone objects to my stating that Donald Trump is on the cusp of achieving a landslide victory, let me assure you this is based on fact, not supposition. Now, at this very moment, US where you stand, and like Newt Gingrich said in the above video you watched, all that Trump's victory means is that he has a ticket to the dance, but now he has to start dancing. Likewise, when Gingrich said that Trump could only succeed in destroying these elite globalists if the movement supported him, that means you. And that, my dear friends, is the reason Sweden is now preparing for war. Because if these globalists for a second see your support failing, Trump will fall, and then will come World War III. And to show and prove to these elite globalist monsters that your support is not failing is for you, in turn, to support those of us who've been telling you the truth all along. Today, right now, this crisis is in your very hands to do something positive about, and that begins by you giving what you can so that we, and others like us, can survive.